and folding forward over. So the length and the tipping comes from the pelvis. That rocking here. We're going to reach for the toes, the ankles, or the shins, depending on where your hands fall. But maybe that changes as you're using your breath to pull you slightly forward. Gaze is towards the big toes. Once you find a bit more length there, you might use your peace fingers here around the big toe, or clasping the sides to bring you a bit further forward in your hips. And once you're there, as far as you can go, then you drop the head. So much breathing into the back body there. So using that breath as a wave, and come slightly up on the inhale, really dropping forward on the exhale. We'll stay here for 5 more breaths. Using that inhale and the exhale, really coming into whatever position is comfortable for you. Last inhale here and exhale. Inhaling back up to center. We're going to use the counter pose, coming back. So you can either stay here, using that position to come into stretching the front of the shoulders, or you can come into a tabletop position, pressing your hips up and back, making sure your head is looking forward, so you're not extending in the neck too much. Or you can place your feet on the floor and pushing your feet into plantar flexion, so they're coming straight forward, almost reaching the mat there and pushing the hips to the sky. So that's the classic position. I much prefer to take tabletop. I find that I can really push through the pelvis here and get that elongation in the shoulders that I need. Staying here for 5 breaths, whatever position is comfortable for you. Really elongating on the inhale. Final breath here. And exhaling. So coming into bringing your right foot into your inner thigh, dropping the knee outwards. We're going to slightly turn over the left leg, almost trying to use that compression again for the stomach. Reaching towards that left leg, right hand can come into a slight twist or grabbing for the foot, whatever range you're getting to. Making sure you're still working from the pelvis rather than just flopping and using, trying to almost achieve touching the toes, which people often try to do. They say they can't touch the toes, but actually the length comes from the pelvis and not the upper back. Using that breath, when you're in the position where you've gone far enough, then you drop the head. We're thinking rocking forward in the pelvis. You can imagine that. Visualizing that tilting forward. Last breath here. Inhaling, coming up. Now you may find that once you've been in this position for a bit too long, you may want to sit up on some height to be able to create that tilting forward. It's entirely up to you, because sometimes if you're just sat on the floor, you start to sort of flop into the stomach here, and this turn happens the opposite way. We want the turning to be forward like this. So bringing that other foot in, you may find You've got very different flexibility one leg to the other. You may need to bolster the knee or sit up on the hike to be able to do that. Or you can raise yourself up on the hike to be able to move yourself slightly more forward. So breathing in, exhaling, slightly turning towards that leg, using the hand to the opposite side of the shin and relaxing. Visualizing that tipping forward, tilting of the pelvis. Really using the exhale to sink towards the leg. Inhaling, using that wave again. Exhale. Last breath here. Inhaling, coming up. We're going to take a wide leg forward fold. So bringing your legs out to where comfortable. Thankfully, we don't have anyone to contend with here, so you can bring them as far forward as comfortable for you. And we're going to use that rocking again, that idea of tilting forward and coming forward to wherever is comfortable. So it may be that your elbows land, it may be that your full body lands on the floor, but really we're just trying to get that creation of the tilting to be able to come to where it's comfortable. The last thing to relax is your head. But your head can weigh up to a stone. So it's really quite a good vessel to create some weight here. You can feel that tugging in the pelvis. Feet are flexed towards the ceiling. If you want to create some more torsion, you can grab the feet, the inside of the feet, and bringing your the front of your body further towards the floor there. That can give your inner thighs a bit more of a strong stretch. And making sure there's no tugging in the lower back. If that's the case, just bring yourself a bit further up, making sure you're elongating from the back rather than striving in the upper body. You may need to do that at first just to try and soften into the stretch. But it's amazing how much the body does soften from the start to the beginning of even 5-10 breaths. So final breath here. Inhaling, coming back up, and exhaling. So just come into our final pose, which is a twist, but a lying down twist. So bringing your back to into contact with the floor. We've done quite a lot of tipping forward here. So it's quite nice to feel that contact, especially with the lower back. So we might need to take a moment here just for the lower back to relax and settle. So bringing in any cushions or props you may need to support you in a twist. It may be that you want to take the twist first and then see where you get to and bolster yourself up then. So bringing your knees into your chest, clasping your hands around the knees, giving a little bit of a rock around. Don't forget about the breath here. Really using it to almost squish the soft tissues into the floor. So feel love on the lower back there. So from this position, bringing your knees over to the right. Top knee can come over the bottom knee. You can split your legs slightly if you wish. So making sure there's no tugging or pulling on the lower back or no pain, because you will feel quite a nice stretch there. The head is coming to the opposite side. The arm can even come out into a side stretch or into a cactus arm, whatever feels more comfortable, so that you can allow the opposite shoulder to ground onto the floor. What we don't want is to strive with the knees to get to a certain position and we're bringing the opposite shoulder off. Using the breath into the side body. It's a lovely relaxing position here. So bringing yourself back to center, you may need to bring your knees up with your hands. I need to almost maneuver this top leg with the opposite hand there. And coming back into that central position. So see if you can feel a difference left to right. You might feel that the left side is really a lot longer now than the opposite side. And that's when we start to get this alignment of the hips. So obviously we need to do both sides in this case. So bringing the knees down to the left, making sure if there's any difference left to right, if we need any props here, you might want to prop between the knees with something. What this then does is brings the hips far more into alignment so this opposite side isn't dropping. People can sometimes sleep like that if they're getting any lower back pain or the hips and pelvis are in a lot of discomfort. It's quite a good tip to start off sleeping like that. Often you can't maintain it, but dropping this, dropping your head to the opposite side, to the right hand side. Arm is wherever feels comfortable, making sure that shoulder is pinned down to the floor. Just sending your breath into that long side of the body, down into the pelvis, creating some length in the tissue. Making this your last breath. Inhaling, calming out, and taking any props away. So coming into our final resting pose of Shavasana, if you want to put anything on, like a jumper or a blanket, or both, or socks, just to make yourself slightly warmer when you're coming into a resting position. Even if I haven't got socks handy, sometimes I wrap my feet in a blanket because I think if your feet feel warm, you feel far cozier. Also, it's nice to have something over the top of you. That feeling of having even just a thin sheet over you when you're in a hot country can be very comforting. So bringing your head onto the floor, making sure your shoulders are in the correct position. So bringing any wiggles of the shoulder in, any wiggles of the hips here to be able to lie flat with your legs slightly apart, resting your feet outwards and your hands up towards the ceiling. So really settling into the floor here. Letting go of that ujjayi breath in the nostrils, so breathing out of the mouth, inhaling in through the mouth and out. So by letting go of that breath, you can feel the tissues melting onto the floor. Head is rested, chin is soft. Just doing a scan of your body. Is there anywhere that could relax even more? Did your feet flop out? Is one of your legs holding some tension? You need to let go in the belly. If one of your shoulders is tighter than the other, does it need to flop into the mat? Feel like your chin is tucked towards the ceiling and needs to relax back down. You may need something under your head. all the while using your breath. Bring attention to your senses. Bringing your attention to your nostrils. Thinking of your favourite smell. Thinking of inhaling your favourite smell. Bringing it through your nostrils. My favourite smell is rose. I fill my nostrils with the idea of pink roses. The body can melt far more into the mat. But maybe that you think of a place. You're on a warm beach. Or you're thinking of your favourite smell. Just using those, either visualising them in the eyes or the nostrils, or from what you can hear. You have to bring that relaxation into the back body. As your attention comes through your nostrils again, breathing out through the mouth. So bringing your attention to your fingertips, starting to rub them together with your thumb. Allowing the rest of your body to be still. Bringing this sensation to the fingers. Do they feel smooth or rough? What can you feel there? Trying to wiggle your fingers, bring some movement into your toes. You may feel okay to start moving the rest of your body. I'm just giving my kneecaps a bit of a wiggle to start waking the muscles up. Rather than moving limbs, big grand gestures, just starting to wake up the legs. So squeezing the kneecaps, wiggling the toes and the fingers. And allows the rest of the body to stay relaxed. So bring your feet up, either your knees up to your chest or the feet onto the floor. Your knees are into a bent position. Your hands on straight. Just allow that connection to the body. Either bringing knees up and turning onto one side, or just coming onto one side with your arm up near your ear. Coming into a fetal position here, resting. We don't want to move too quick and undo all the good work. We're going to come up to a seated position. Be the last thing that comes up, bringing some pressure into the front hand here to be able to push up into this seated position once more. You may want to come back onto some height or onto a brick even. That might feel better. Almost like a better substance to sit on at the end. So eyes are soft, eyelids closed, hands onto the knees. So just bringing some stillness back to the body. Just letting everything that we've done embed into the body. So bringing your hands into Namaskara Mudra in front of the heart. We're going to take one arm Shanti Shanti. So breathing in. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Remembering the intention that you formed at the start, bringing that into the heart space. The intention you set for yourself or someone else. Even if you're still moving towards that intention. Bringing your fingertips to your forehead, bowing down Namaste. Giving thanks to the earth that supported us. May the goodness in me see and recognize the goodness in you. Thank you. Happy New Year.